Hello and welcome to Virgo Fidelis Kitchen, where you, as New Year 7 and all the girls in the school here, learn how to do home cooking. I'm Mr. Jabber. I will be teaching you home cooking and food technology. Uh, Unfortunately, you can't be here with us today because of the lockdown and the COVID-19, but we are doing this demonstration for you to show you what you will be learning in the future as a student, as a pupil in Virgo Fidelis. So today I'm going to demonstrate to you how to do a spaghetti bolognese, all homemade, everything fresh ingredients, and I'm going to do some cupcakes as well for you to practice at home so you can do the meat and the cupcakes during the summer holiday, and you can show us some pictures of what you do, how you cook at home, and how you help mom and dad and whoever is at home. So for the spaghetti bolognese, I'm using 500 grams of mincemeat. I've got chopped tomato, onion, carrots, leeks, and celery, and some garlic. Of course, optionals, I'm using chili and a packet of spaghetti. This is all that you can see here, under 3 pounds, and this will feed a family of 4. So we start with, we're going to put a drop of oil in the saucepan. Saucepan has to be deep because we're doing a sauce. The bolognese is a sauce. And then I'm gonna cut my vegetables. You can use as much vegetable as you want. This is where all the flavor comes in to the meat. So I've washed all my vegetables, and at the moment they are in season, so they are quite cheap to buy. Okay, and I'm gonna start adding it. Just gonna turn the gas on. So on a medium heat, and I'm gonna put my vegetables as I cut them in. These are the bases for any flavored food at all. So every time you're eating a vegetable soup, you're eating anything, carrots, celery, leek, onions gives all the flavor for all the food that we make. So we use them quite a lot, these root vegetables, and they're quite tasty, they're quite healthy, good for you on so many levels. So I'm just cutting it finely chopped. You can grate it if you want, if you don't want to see it. And there's a reason why I'm using carrots. Carrots inside the tomato sauce, it gives it the color and it gives it a bit of sweetener as well. So it's quite a good way to eat. So with a wooden spoon, I'm just gonna gently fry them. Onion and its family is also the best thing to have. It's good for our immune system. It helps tackle all the little germs that we come across, like the flu, and it's traditionally used in so many cultures as a medicine. Chinese herbal, Middle Eastern, African, Asian cultures, they all use onion and garlic as herbal and traditional natural medicine. And on top of that, onion is full of natural sugar. So once you cooked it, apply the heat for the onion, it will start to release all the sugar. And this is where we call what we call caramelized onion, which is basically applying loads of heat for a long time, and the onion will start to caramelize. And leek and celery are from the same family as well, which they might taste bitter, fresh, but once cooked, they taste amazing. So I'm starting with the vegetables, and they can take a long cooking, so it doesn't matter how long you cook them. You can eat them fresh, as you will see when you come into my lesson, that I will be eating the vegetables as I cook them. So that's ready, and you're gonna always keep your area nice and clean all the time. You will have your own space. As you can see here, I got my own space and around the kitchen. Some of you already been into the kitchen and they saw that you get your own space to cook in, and you have to look after it and you have to clean after yourself. So I'm just gonna turn over. Now I'm gonna add my mincemeat. Removing this. Always wash your hands if you're touching any raw meat. And I'm just gonna break it down with the back of the spoon and cook it for about 5 to 8 minutes until it's brown in color. So this is the first stage of cooking any mincemeat, is the browning. And we have to be extra careful when we're doing mincemeat. Mincemeat is quite dangerous, so it has to be thoroughly cooked inside out. And bolognese is one of these recipes, one of these dishes that the longer you cook it, the better it gets. And you probably notice that the next day, if you have the bolognese the next day, you'll have a more depth of flavor because it gets time to marry with each other and become more flavor. So this is cooking. Just stir it so it doesn't stick. I'm gonna keep it on a medium heat, not too high heat. I'm gonna get my tomato ready. You can buy, of course, a lot of people these days buy the jars of whether Dolmio or any supermarket jars, which they cost about £2. Sometimes you get it on a special offer for £1, but it's more or less, sometimes it's less than a tin of chopped tomato, which costs at the moment 35p, which is quite cheap and a good way to cook because you know what you're putting inside, no adding preservatives, nothing, and you're not paying for some brand name loads of money just to buy their jar. Okay, so my meat is already brown and you can see it's brown in color. If you find that the meat that you bought has contained a lot of fat, sometimes they don't tell us exactly how much, you will see at the bottom as you apply the heat that the fat become liquid. So if there is too much of it, just spoon it out, drain it out. If it's okay, it's fine. At this point, I'm gonna add some garlic. Garlic goes at the end because it will burn in 10 seconds, so don't fry the garlic to start with. So I'm just gonna cut my garlic fine. And if you're allergic to anything, you can always do it without. It's absolutely up to you what you use, as long as it's fresh ingredients. That's the motto of the learning in the school here. We try to encourage everyone to use fresh ingredients, as they are cheaper and healthier for us. So that goes in. My chili, I'm just gonna split it in half, because I'm not sure the people who will be eating it whether they like spicy food or not. That's ready. I'm gonna put my tomato in and rinse this with a little bit of water. You can also add tomato paste if you like a deep color, but it's absolutely fine with the chopped tomato. So that's ready. Now from this point onwards, I need to cook this. So I need to bring it to the boil and cook it for a minimum of half an hour. So the lid goes on. It's coming up to the boil. Reduce the heat, lowest setting. Give it a stir every 5 minutes, just so it doesn't stick at the bottom. Within half an hour, this is ready. You can keep it cooking as long as you want, but it will be ready in half an hour. Apology for the video quality, because I'm on my own. There is no one else here to film, so it's a bit messy. So I'm gonna pause now to clean up and tidy up everything, and then I'm gonna start doing the cupcake at the same time while this is cooking. So I'm using my time, so within 1 hour I'm cooking main course and dessert at the same time. I will see you in a minute. Welcome back. So I've cleared up everything and I'm ready for showing you the cupcake. Meanwhile, I'm just keeping an eye on my bolognese. It's cooking nicely. So at this point I'm gonna add some mixed herbs. Just gives it a nice aroma. Not too much if it's dried. I like a bit of Worcester sauce, and that it gives you an extra flavor. And if you notice that I haven't put any salt to the dish yet, because I will only add the seasoning right at the end where I can actually taste it. So when it's not cooked, I am not going to be able to taste it. So we're going to move into the cupcakes. This is a very easy, straightforward cupcakes that we're going to do. We're going to use equal amount of everything. So I'm going to base it on eggs. So each medium egg, it's about 50 grams. So for each one egg, which is 50 grams, I'm going to use 50 grams of butter, 50 grams of sugar, and 50 grams of self-raising flour, or plain flour with baking powder. So I've measured my butter and sugar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cream it, which is turning it into cream. So just press it down. Make sure your butter is nice and soft. It's not from the fridge, otherwise it's going to be hard and it's going to take you a very long time to get it going. So with the back of the spoon, either a wooden spoon or a spatula, and press it down till it gets soft. It probably take about, depends on how soft is your butter and how cold is the weather. So today's weather is not that warm, not yet while I'm doing it. So my butter is a little bit harder than I want it, but that means it's going to take me an extra 2 minutes to do it. Just keep stirring it around, and within just 1 minute you can see that it's getting to that level. What I need to get it to, cream, when we say creaming it, getting it to a double cream. You know when you whipped cream, that kind of status. So it's going to be nice and smooth and soft. So when I'm adding the egg, it's easier to combine it together. I'm going to flavor it with a bit of vanilla. About a tablespoon, because I'm using 200 grams of everything and 4 eggs. So I'm using a big spoon of vanilla extract or any flavor that you like to add to it. So just keep going around till you're able to do this when it's very soft and it's mixed together. And at this point I'm gonna add the eggs one at a time, and what I'm gonna do is to save myself from having any shells inside, so I'm gonna break the egg in this little cup. No shells. I'm adding one at a time and I'm mixing. If you add it all at once, there's other methods where you put all the ingredients and you mix it. It's doable, but it's harder than this. But this one is the best, where you'll get the best, fluffiest, softest sponge cake you can ever taste. So just keep adding the eggs one at a time, and always make sure there's an adult around. And when you're dealing with raw egg, ensure that you are washing your hands after that, because it contains salmonella. Salmonella is a very bad bacteria, will cause food poisoning. So I'm just adding and mixing, making sure that it's all combined together. At the moment I can mix as fast as I want, because this is where all the air will go into my cake and makes it light and fluffy. Now this can be multiplied, can be halved, so if you're doing, so each one egg will give you about 5 good medium size cupcakes. You can multiply it. If you're doing for 300, just do 60 eggs and you got enough for everyone. Just follow the recipe straight, 4 ingredients, all equal amount. Cream them, cream the butter and sugar, add the egg one at a time. Just need to wash my hands. So it's all combined, all well mixed together. There is no lumps of butter, all nice and smooth. Making sure that I'm bringing it all together nicely. And then I'm going to sift my flour, because it's a little bit lumpy and it might have some, if it's an old flour, it might have some inside it, some things that we don't want in our cake. So start with a little bit. Don't put all the flour at the same time, and just bring it together. At this point we're gonna start using the folding. Yeah, folding means doing number 8 while you're mixing it. So we're gonna do it gently, otherwise all the bubbles is gonna be bursting if I'm gonna do, and this is where the difference between home cooked and handmade, or the ones that you do by the machine. If you can hear this, that's the rain coming down. It's raining heavily at the moment. Now if you want to do a chocolatey one, all you have to do is take some of the flour out and replace it with cocoa powder. Same amount, and it will give you the chocolate flavored one. You can do the marble, which is half and half, half white, half chocolate. You can do anything you like with this recipe. Yep. Lesson is finished, as you can hear. Yeah, I'm gonna use the time now because has been over 20 minutes. I'm gonna put some hot water, loads of it. So a big saucepan, 2/3 water, and that's to cook my pasta in. Put it on the heat and it needs to come to the boil. So it needs to be boiling before I put my pasta. Right. That's getting there. So I'm just folding it together. I'm looking for consistency that it is thick enough, but not thick, not too thick. So when I lift it up, which I'll show you now, it's gonna still drop, but it's not gonna drop really fast. So if I look it up, it's dropping. And what I'm looking for is all these little bubbles. As you can see, that's what makes a nice fluffy cake. So for me, I am happy with the consistency of it, and I haven't used all the flour. So sometimes, depending on the weather, that will play a big part whether your kitchen is hot or not. So I'm using the tray. I'm gonna put my cupcake papers in. They're all different colors. That's the first 12. I need a spoon. So I'm using this spoon as a measurement for my cupcake. So I'll take a spoonful and put it inside. That will ensure that my cupcakes are equal. So when they are cooking, they will cook at the same time. So a spoonful right in the middle. Use your finger to slide it down, or 2 spoons, whichever is easier for you. As chefs, we like to use our hands because they can tell us quite a lot. It's one of our best tools, our hands, in the kitchen. So I preheated my oven to 180 degrees. Depends on your oven, if it's too hot. If it's not, then put it to 200. So a medium heat between 180 to 200 degrees will give you a very good temperature for the cake. So I need to put about 2/3 in. I'm not gonna fill it too much because this is gonna rise. So it's gonna give me more on that. So that's my first tray ready. So I'll probably end up with 18 cakes, because this one is quite big, large cupcake, not the little ones that you get the fairy cupcakes. So I'll see how we get on with it. Yeah, we made 15 cakes. we go. I'm scraping everything in. There. There's 16 cupcakes ready to go in the oven. They're gonna go in the oven between 12 and 15 minutes, and I'm not gonna open the oven until it's at least 12 minutes, and then I will check on them. Okay, so that's ready. My food is cooking. We'll be back. Okay, so it has been about 13 minutes in my oven. I've just took them out. You can see they are golden brown. I put a knife inside to double check, and when it comes out clean. You can use a skewer or a knife. Just be careful if you're using a knife. That means it's absolutely lovely and cooked. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave them to rest. So I'm gonna take them out of the tray as it's very hot. Be careful please, and put them on a cooling rack to cool down. Now if you got lots of time at home, you can do loads of decoration into that, where you can do buttercream to put on top. And if you're doing the buttercream, it's 200 gram of icing sugar to 100 gram of butter, and cream it as we did with this. Just make it into cream. Keep mixing till it's nice and soft and fluffy, and you can do any shape you want on top of that. So that's my cake ready. Mind the tray, it's very hot, so just put it on one side to cool down. My pasta, I've put it on the heat. It's nearly ready, so make sure you read what does it say on your pasta, how long. I'm just gonna take it. If I can cut it easily with my fingers, if it's hard, too hard, then I'll leave it. Taste it. That's what we call, it's got the al dente. Al dente, that means it's got a texture to it. It's got a bite, not completely soft. It's not like eating jello or jelly or mousse. We need to have a texture. We like to have a bit of texture. So that, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna drain it. Drained it out of the water. Don't put any hot on the surfaces. Mine is different here. It can take the heat. If you're at home, don't. Then I'm gonna add the meat to it. Mix it together. And you can put it on the heat for a little bit, for about a minute, and that will give it, let the pasta take the sauce. But careful not to burn it. That's ready. So all you have to do is eat. Get your own dish, just for the demonstration. And a bit of meat on top, and you will have yourself a nice lovely dinner with cupcakes. It's all cost effective, all very nice and healthy. This is what you're going to be learning when you join us at Virgo Fidelis. There'll be a lot of recipes, a lot of things that you're going to cook. Most likely on your timetable you're going to cook before break time or before lunch. So that will be your lunch or your break where you can eat your food either in the kitchen here. And if you're cooking for the family, you can do it at home, and you can take to mom when you do cake and let them taste your food. I look forward to see you in September. Stay healthy, stay well, keep fit. Take care.